How many times have you heard, I have a no-whip, easy foam, double shot soy venti latte at the bar? Ah yes, Starbucks jargon. I remember the first time I went into a Starbucks coffee shop. It was about 14 years ago, and I had heard them say this. I had wondered, what the heck is inside that cup? I thought, how fancy could coffee be? Isn't coffee served with just cream and sugar? Or simpler than that, just black? About a few decades ago, coffee bars have cultivated our society. Today, everyone recognizes that thick green straw as a part of a tasty beverage served in a clear plastic cup with their name down the side. Coffee back then wasn't nearly as stylish as it is nowadays. Today, I want to share with you the history of Starbucks coffee and how it's transformed ordinary coffee in America into something extraordinary. I will discuss this trend and style of Starbucks compared to the coffee of the past. I will talk about the history of Starbucks and lastly describe the success that Starbucks has worldwide. Before the Starbucks craze, people would stop at the corner coffee shop for a 50-cent cup of coffee. The 50-cent cup of coffee was poured in a styrofoam cup, and only extra choices to spice up your coffee were powdered cream and sugar. Coffee back then was just coffee. Nothing fancy about it, just something ordinary. Before Starbucks has made its mark, many specialty drinks were unheard of. The American culture back then only knew of coffee sold in cans. People purchased their coffees from the supermarket, and if they were a coffee connoisseur, then they would go to a specialty shop. Starbucks has put a twist on the coffee culture. Its trend brought a distinctive individual style that we all now identify. According to Howard Schultz, the CEO and chairman of Starbucks, his chain is not about just serving coffee, it's about expressing a personality that's sophisticated. The mission of Starbucks was not just to serve an assortment of beverages. Schultz's vision was to sell coffee in style. He admired the popularity of espresso bars in Italy and the camaraderie between the customers and the baristas. He felt America was missing out on this coffee culture, and it was his vision to change ordinary coffee culture into a Starbucks legacy. Schultz took serving a simple cup of coffee and created a design personality. Starbucks, as we know it today, embraces that Italian influence. Here are some examples of the Italian-inspired trends that Schultz brought on. Espresso, cafe lattes, and a barista are some of the Italian influences that he has brought or that he saw in Italy. And Starbucks coffee sizes, the tall, well, not so much the tall, but the grande and the venti are also Italian words. The gathering place is how we can relate to a Starbucks. Joseph Michelli, author of The Starbucks Experience, says that coffee has been around for centuries, but what Starbucks did was embrace the world with the concept of serving the finest coffees in a relaxed and comfortable environment where people can enjoy themselves. Howard Schultz refers to this as a third place. In his third place, he says, a taste of romance, an affordable luxury, and an oasis and a casual social interaction. This is his concept idea of having that third place, and this is what you see like in the picture of, or that's how we relate to Starbucks. Starbucks built a company one cup at a time. The company was started by three friends, Jerry Baldwin, Gordon Bowker, and Steve Siegel in 1971. Each of them equally shared a passion about coffee. They opened the first store in Seattle, Washington in the historic Pike Place market. The shop sold fresh roasted gourmet coffee beans and roasting accessories. It was one of Seattle's best-selling coffee companies and grew up to 6 stores by 1986. The mission of the founders was to educate the consumers about the joys of world-class coffee, roasted and brewed the way it should be. Howard Schultz discovered Starbucks coffee as a salesman for Howard Schultz discovered Starbucks coffee as a salesman for Hammer Class appliances. He saw what great product the company sold and how it served its customers. In 1982, Baldwin hired Schultz as the new head of marketing and shortly thereafter sent him to Milan to attend an international houseware show in Italy. Schultz was so infatuated with the Italian coffee culture he saw that he wanted to introduce it here in America. Unfortunately, the espresso bar idea wasn't anything that the founders thought they wanted to get into. So, Schultz parted ways with Starbucks and opened his own Italian espresso bar under the name Il Giornale, which means the daily in Italian. In 1987, Starbucks coffees went up for sale. Schultz found local investors to help him acquire the assets of Starbucks coffee. It was his dream come true. Soon after the merger, Starbucks Coffee and Il Giornale changed their names to Starbucks Corporation. Here's a brief timeline of the Starbucks history. In 1971, Starbucks first opened in Seattle, the Pike Place Market. In 1985, Howard Schultz found Il Giornale. In 1987, Il Giornale and Starbucks combined and became Starbucks Coffee, which we all know today. Since then, Starbucks stores have skyrocketed. A comedian once joked on the HBO Comedy Hour, "Hey, did you hear that they're opening a Starbucks up in my living room?" Here are some interesting facts about Starbucks. Today, Starbucks has 11,000 stores worldwide. Starbucks also serves coffee in 37 countries. Its annualized growth is 25% since 1993. 5 new stores open up daily. An average of 35 million customers visit Starbucks each week, and currently it has $6.3 billion in annual sales. Starbucks believes in valuing the quality of the product they sell. Its success was largely through word-of-mouth advertising, and this turned its name into a household word. The history of Starbucks shows how a once ordinary coffee turned into a grande success story.